Hi there, this is Andy Nicol again, the course tutor for the Perfectly Spoken Advanced course. And this lesson, which is lesson 40, is the 8th review lesson so far. And we're looking at the content of lessons 36 to 39. So as usual, we are on level C1 of the Common European Framework, which includes the Cambridge exams, etc., and roughly IELTS 7.5. Okay, so what are we going to look at? Well, we're going to review the language of conditionals, which we looked at in lessons 36 and 38. We're going to look again at the vocabulary of phones, computers, and technology. And we're going to review the vocabulary of animals, which we did in the last lesson. Okay, so first of all, conditionals. What can you remember? Well, here are some sentences which contain mistakes, and I'd like you to correct the mistakes. Okay, so you've got a guy looking at his watch. He's obviously in a state of panic. Oh my goodness, he's late. And the sentence is, if you're late for work again, you would get in trouble with the boss. Okay, so there is a mistake in this sentence. Pause the recording if you need some time to think about it. And of course, if you are late for work again is first conditional, present, and so we need in the result clause will. If you're late for work again, you will get in trouble with the boss. Okay, this is a real conditional, not an unreal one, like the second conditional. Okay, so if plus present, and then a future tense will, not would. Okay, here's the next one. The girl looking very downhearted. If I study harder, I would have passed my exams. If I study harder, I would have passed my exams. Okay, so I want to correct the first clause. There was a mistake in the first clause, if I study harder. Well, study's in the present, so that would be the first conditional. I would have passed my exams is the third conditional. We're talking about in the past. So the third conditional is if plus past perfect, if plus had plus participle. So it should be if I had studied harder, I would have passed my exams. Both clauses are in the past. Okay. So that's the third conditional. Okay. Well, there's a guy who with the big nose, obviously representing Pinocchio type situation, and the concept of telling lies. So I wouldn't have listened to you if I knew you were such a liar. I wouldn't have listened to you if I knew you were such a liar. Well, again, here, both clauses should be referring to the past. So we need to use the third conditional again. So I wouldn't have listened to you if I had known you were such a liar. Again, past perfect to talk about the past. It's a regret in this case. Okay. Here's another one. Obviously, there's been an accident with a car and a bike. He would be in hospital now if he wasn't wearing his helmet at the time of the crash. Okay, so he would be in hospital now is present, so it's possible to use the second conditional with would. So in the if clause, however, we're talking about at the time of the crash is in the past. So we need to use past perfect. In this case, continuous. If he hadn't been wearing his helmet at the time of the crash. This is what we call a mixed conditional. First clause is referring to the present. Second clause is referring to the past. Okay, now we're looking at words which are alternatives to if. Okay, so here's a situation. you can return the item of clothing, dress, etc. Something that you have the receipt. So it's a more emphatic form of if, with that is provided that. Provided that. It's absolutely essential that you have the receipt if you want to return the item. Provided that. You could also say providing that you have the receipt. Okay, here's the next one. Something we listened to him, we wouldn't have missed the turn off. Now, this is the third conditional. It's talking about the past. Normally we would say if we had listened to him, we wouldn't have missed the turn off. But we want to make it more emphatic. So we invert and we drop the if. And we say, had we listened to him, we wouldn't have missed the turn off on the motorway. Okay, had we listened to, if we had listened to him, becomes had we listened to him, we wouldn't have missed the turn off, the exit from the motorway or whatever. Okay. Something, our passwords don't arrive in time. What are we going to do? Okay, so you're setting up a hypothetical situation here, and so the word that we can use here is supposing. Supposing our passwords don't arrive in time, what are we going to do? Number 4, you can borrow my shirt as something as you give me it back tomorrow. Again, this is more emphatic than if. It's an alternative to if, and the answer is as long as. And finally, number 5, we didn't know something or not, you'd be able to join us later. It's the same as we didn't know if you'd be able to join us later, but with something or not, we use whether or not. We didn't know whether or not you'd be able to join us later. Okay, now moving on to the vocabulary, first vocabulary section, which is on phones, computers, and technology from lesson 37. And if you could complete the following sentences. And here are the words: charge, download, hands-free, landline, life, missed, and reception. Here's the first one. I've got 3 something calls, but I don't recognize the number. You're looking at your phone and you say, oh, somebody's been trying to call me, but I don't recognize the number. I've got 3 missed calls, when someone has called you and you didn't answer it. Number 2, here's my mobile number and my something is 01382 858 779. Incidentally, in English, when you give a phone number, you say it number by number. If you have 2 numbers the same, you can say double. So 01382 858 779. But we don't say 85, 87, 79. Also, the 0 is pronounced O in a phone number. So it's 01382 858 779. So this is not my mobile number, it's the number I have in my house, and this is my landline. Number 3, I'm going to have to something my phone again. Honestly, the battery something on this phone is rubbish. Okay, so your phone has run out of battery, so you're going to have to charge your phone again, plug it into the wall. Honestly, the battery life on this phone is rubbish. Okay, it's the battery life is the time that the battery lasts until you need to charge it again, the battery life. Okay, number 4. I often talk on my something when I'm driving. Well, I don't, because in Spain I don't know if you're allowed to or not, so I don't. But certainly it's legal in many countries to talk on your the phone you use without having to pick it up is your hands-free phone. I often talk my hands-free when I'm driving. Number 5, I've got very little something here. Your call is breaking up. I can't, there's no signal. I've got very little reception. And finally on this, I was going to something, that app you suggested on my phone, but it was way too expensive. So you were going to go to the App Store and look for the app and install it in your phone. I was going to download that app you suggested. Okay. Now this time we are looking at the phrasal verbs: back up, cut off, go online, hack into, key in, log in, print out, scroll down, shut down, and top up. You may need to change the tense of the verb or the form of the verb depending on the sentence. So here I tried to something to my email, but I couldn't. It turned out that someone had something my account and changed the password. Or you tried to enter to log in to your email, but I couldn't. It turned out that someone had illegally entered my account and changed the password. Hacked into. Number 2, if you, to the bottom of the page, so if you move the page down to the bottom of the page, you will see a button which will allow you to the document to send it to your printer. So if you scroll down the bottom of the page, you'll see a button which will allow you to print out the document. Number 3, my mobile got disconnected in mid-call because I didn't have enough credit on my phone. I went to the newsagents to put more credit on it. So my mobile got disconnected, cut off. I went to the newsagents to top it up, to put more credit on the phone. Number 4, at the end of the day, I, and it's a phrasal verb meaning to basically save all the information, in this case on a CD or on an external hard drive, etc. And then I disconnect my computer, switch it off. So it's back up and shut down. Back up my files and shut down my computer. Finally, number 5, I something my password and then open the search engine so I type in, so key in my password and then open the search engine to access the internet to go online. Okay. Now, finally, the animal world. We're going to start, first of all, with animal body parts. Complete the sentences. We've got beak, claws, hooves, tail, and tusks. Remember, hoofs is the plural of hoof with an F, H-O-O-F. Poachers, these are people who hunt animals illegally, who hunt elephants for their something, can face many years in prison. And it's these things here, tusks. I'll put the answers up at the end. Tusks, yes. We watch the seagull dive into the water and pick up a fish in its, well, the bird's mouth is its beak, in its beak. He accidentally stood on the cat's something and it screamed out in pain. Well, the bit at the end of the cat or of the animal, the long thing that sticks out the back, is the tail. It stood on the cat's tail and it screamed out in pain. Number 4, the horse stamped its and neighed loudly. Neigh! That's the way in English we say the way it's the noise that a horse makes, it's neighed. The feet of a horse are its hooves. The horse stamped its hooves and neighed loudly. Number 5. A tiger's something are one of the most fearsome weapons in the animal kingdom. And of course, it's claws, the claws of a tiger, these things here. Okay. Animal homes then. We've got cage, hive, kennel, nest, and stable. We counted 3 eggs in the birds. Well, birds lay eggs in a nest. Number 2. I saw a bear trying to steal honey from a bee. Well, bees live in hives, so a beehive. Number 3. Can you go to the something and change the hay and water for the horses? So which of these places does a horse live in? And the answer is stable. Stable. Number 4, we bought our dog a new something because he was getting too big for the old one. So the house for a dog is a kennel. A kennel. Number 5, my little brother accidentally left the something open and the hamster escaped. The hamster, pet hamster, we tend to keep them in a cage. Left the cage open. Okay, and now animal similes. These are the structures with like or as something as with an adjective. And so the animals we've got are a bat, a fox, a lamb, a peacock, and a whale. There you go, a little picture of a baby sheep. Some people are scared of my Rottweiler. Rottweiler, of course, is a very dangerous breed of dog. But in reality, he's as gentle as which animal is considered to be gentle? And the answer is a lamb, as in the picture. As gentle as a lamb. Number 2, my sister's so generous, she's got a heart as big as, well, meaning very, very big as a whale. His heart as big as a whale. Number 3, I can't see a thing without my glasses. Well, in terms of reading, for me it's actually true. I can't see a thing without my glasses. I'm as blind as a bat. As blind as a bat. Number 4, when he learned he'd been offered a place at Oxford, Oxford being a very prestigious university in England, he was as proud as a peacock. As proud as a peacock. So beautiful birds. The male birds have very big, beautiful tails which look like eyes on them. You can remember. The criminal behind the operation was as cunning meaning someone who plans things in a very sort of malicious or negative way, always making plans and so on. As cunning as a fox. Cunning as a fox. Okay, so that's the end of the review lesson. Sorry for the little hiccup in the middle. Next lesson, lesson 41, we'll be looking at future plans and arrangements. Okay, so please do plan to join us then for the next broadcast. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the review lesson. I hope it reminded you of the content of the previous lessons. And I look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye-bye for now.